Evening special guest Angus, how are you?
Good, thanks, mate. How you doing?
Good, good. Welcome to BQB episode 6. Happy Mother's Day to all of those celebrating. You really are the unsung heroes of most households and the glue that keeps the utter chaos at bay. So I hope you all got the appreciation that you deserve today. What are you drinking this evening, Angus?
In honor of, well, it was meant to be after the my trip to the Celtic festival and drinking a Kilkenny.
You,
So
you bastard.
it was pretty slim pickings at Glen, so I went to the bottle shop.
Yeah, regional towns are pretty bad, but I have to say, some places yeah, the diverse range that we used to have is really lacking. I myself have got a special one. I have the dollar bill candy paint. It's the 2024 barrel aged cherry sour with lots of Brett and malic acid, and I just love what they do with blending their beers. Gold teeth and candy paint. Um,
Yeah, the
yeah,
gold teeth one. I was trying to remember. I had one of theirs. Yeah,
I think Gold Teeth
yeah, they make some
won
cool beers.
Beer of the Year a couple of years ago. It's won a few. I think Candy Paint won it as well. Um, yeah, it's all funky wild ferment stuff. Them and Wildflower do some really good stuff. Sobremesa as well, but yeah, I really like this one. It's like a pseudo lambic. It's got lots of sour cherries and stuff in it, and it's yeah, something a bit special that I brought back from Melbourne with me. So, in saying that, the reason why we're a little bit late on this pod is I spent last week down at the Royal Melbourne Australian International Beer Awards, the first time I've been down in Melbourne. 4 days of judging, 2,300 beers, which is a little bit down from last year. I tried some amazing beers, saw some amazing packaging, especially from Asia. Um, Huge 1 litre cans with screw tops and then a ring pull on the top, and some beautiful different coloured glassware and things. The setup is really similar to the Indies or Royal Queensland. It's just stepped up a bit. There's 15 panels and a dedicated draft team. So they're actually a people who look after the kegs and the keg reefers and everything like that. So um, as you expect for an international competition, it's just that step up than I've experienced before. I did have the honour of sitting at the championship tables, which was amazing. Trying the ranking the 21 trophy winners, so that was a really cool experience. Um, if
You're a steward, weren't you? Is that
it
what I read? You're stewarding?
Yeah, so the
Yeah.
the deal is you have to steward uh, before you can become an associate judge. You have to be an associate judge for a certain amount of years before you become a judge. Just the normal way. And even though I was a panel chair at Royal Queensland this year, this was the first time I've been there, so I had to steward, which wasn't bad because I got to meet lots of people, lots of faces, and putting faces to acquaintances online. But I still got to see all my judge friends and yeah, like to be a part of that championship table was really good. The only thing that was different to stewarding most events was there was no sampling during the stewarding. It's the first time that they've brought that in, and it's the only beer comp that I've seen that's done that. Um, I don't think it was that popular with the stewards because that's one thing.
Yeah.
Um, you see something poured down the end and you go and take a sip, but perhaps maybe it was abused in previous years. It always makes sense. It always worries me that workplace health and safety and trying to look professional and all that. I get that, but when it was just a little sample, I don't know. Um, there,
I've got a feeling I seem to remember one of the stewards at the recent Queensland Beer Awards was talking about someone got sent home, like a steward got sent home from one of the comps. So maybe it was the Abers last year.
yeah, maybe
But
someone over abused it or something. Yeah,
This whoever it was went way too far, and yeah, it was
which is
asked to
good.
leave.
Yeah. Well, they did sort of come up with a solution was if you saw something that and for those who don't know how beer comps, a lot of the stewards volunteer and they either get paid. They usually get paid in like mix leftovers of beers that are entered by the competition. So it's sort of a minimal expense to the competition, and the stewards get to try some great beers. But usually during service, if there's a break between flights, you usually get to sample something if you like. It was strictly off limits for this comp. However, after judging was completed for the day, if there was anything left open, you could try it then. So it wasn't that you totally didn't get to try. However, we might have to put a separate fridge for things that you want to try, so they're not sort of left on the table or something like that. Um,
Yeah,
Unfortunately, I think other comps will go this way. And it was also brought up that other comps like the ham comp and the cheese comp and the ice cream comp and the wine comp and spirits comps, they all don't have any sampling by the stewards during the competition as well. So we might be going down that way. And the last thing you want is someone to trip over or something while they're carrying a tray if they're affected by it. But none of the comps I've been, anyone's had that much to warrant. Because it
yeah.
was really all we're doing is just a sip, but it might be the way that things are going too.
I mean, generally you're working not we're not working flat out at the back, but you're fairly busy, so you're generally having like a little 10-20 ml sample just in the bottom of the glass, and then you like I work in the kegging team, so once you've poured the flights, you're pulling four kegs off, getting them back in the reefer, pulling another four out for the next flight. So like we're not sitting out there sitting drinking full glasses of beer and knocking them down.
No, no one ever had a full
Um,
glass, and it was just a sip, and it was only if you had time and if it was something that looked interesting most of the time. Um, but I thought it was a really, really well run comp. They fed us really well, like Royal Queensland and the Indies do. Um, yeah, it was, and being on the championship table was really good. Hopefully, I can go down as an associate next year, and we'll work something out for the stewards, to taste at the end of the day, chilled stock or something. But all in all, I thought it was a really good comp, really well run, really smooth, no real issues. So yeah, it was really cool. How was the Celtic festival that you were at?
that was good fun. Yeah, I had a really good time. We got down there pretty late Friday night, and we stayed in an Airbnb on a farm just above Armidale, right opposite the truck stop at the top of the pinch.
Yep. Oh,
That
Black
was good
Mountain.
fun. Drive, yeah, Black Mountain. Yeah.
Yep.
So that was good fun driving into this house on a farm. It was about 7:30 at night time, pitch black, dirt roads, no idea where I was going. Anyway, we got there. No one died.
You said the accommodation was totally sold out in Glen for the
Oh
festival.
yeah, it was totally packed. All caravan sites, camping, all the hotels that are all spread all through Glennis was all booked out.
That's great
Yeah.
for the region.
Yeah, well, the Celtic Festival's been running. It's its 10th year this year, and
That all, I'm sure they had it when
yeah,
I was a
so
kid. Yeah, maybe it wasn't a proper festival. Maybe it was a Celtic Day or something when I was younger.
yeah, because definitely I was talking to a lady who she's on something to do with organising a similar festival in Warwick,
Okay.
and she was saying that the Glen Innes one's been running for 10 years, and the Warwick one, I think this next year will be their second year.
Do
So
they have a Stonehenge and a Excalibur as well, like Glen
yeah,
Innes?
I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure what's there. Yeah, none of my kids are king or queen. They all had to go up pulling the sword out.
It's a rite of passage. My sons have tried it too. No, no luck.
No, no, we're all still paupers.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, that's good.
Yeah, it's good fun. Yeah, it was. It's really really well organized. That general kind of everything kind of Celtic. So there was pipe bands. They had two tents with dancers. There was Scottish dancers, Irish dancers. They had a live stage with bands and things during the day. But we spent a lot of time watching the strong person competition, which
Yeah.
was cool.
Is it like
So
where they do
caber
like
toss,
the caber toss and stuff? Is it?
yeah, the caber tossing and the hammer throws. There's a weight for height comp where you basically get a big massive iron weight and throw it over your shoulder, like a kind of like a bar, like high jump. You like
Yeah.
throw it back over your shoulder, and they had some of the weights down in front of the crowd to try out.
Yep.
I went down and I I can't believe the weight they're throwing. So I think the open weight was 25 kilos. Now, it's just a little kind of metal, some block of metal, basic with a handle on it.
Yeah.
And so they're throwing this thing up over their back over this bar. And I think the top height was, I think it was 16 feet. So it's all measured in old imperial.
Yep.
So about 5 meters. So they're throwing 25 kilos, 5 meters in the air above them.
And backwards too. That's not a normal sort of
Yeah, yeah.
motion, is it?
No,
Yeah.
it's pretty impressive. I had the big weight just on the side of the crowd, and I couldn't even get it above my shoulder here.
Yeah.
And they're throwing it 5 meters up in the air, like fighting gravity was pretty impressive.
All swearing a kill. Ah. Uh,
Well, they were doing they did some what'd they call it? Wrestling, back wrestling, I think it was.
yeah.
So we the whole crowd got to see that they were wearing um like tights underneath during the wrestling. One of the guys got thrown over and yeah, would have seen everything if he wasn't wearing the tights.
Yeah.
So that was good.
Oh, it sounds
Bought
like
myself a tankard.
gorgeous. Is that
Yeah, it's pretty
is
cool.
it metal or is it pottery?
No, it's
Timber one.
timber. It's all like I don't think it's like knotted together with the rope and uh, like it's not like a proper one, but it's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
Cool.
going to get a lot of use. Especially
Yeah.
you mentioned coming up that you're upgrading your brew kit.
Yeah, during the Christmas holidays we were away camping and I came back and my keezer, my beer freezer had pooped itself. Luckily there was no beer in there, so I didn't lose any beer. And yeah, I've been gradually rebuilding building the new system. So I've got it painted, got the collar done. I've mucking around with pocket holes today. So I don't know if you know what they are, but it's a joining method for timber. So I was playing with that today. So hopefully, probably by the end of this month, I'll have it up and running.
And you're getting a new system for your birthday.
Yeah, I've put in a deposit on a system from Cheeky Peak. So I don't know if you've seen any of their gear, but they were doing like really cool systems for home brewers, and they also had a professional brewing line as well. And they dumped all the homebrew stuff, and they're only doing professional brewing kits now. Anyway, I've got this single vessel system coming out where it's jacketed,
Yep.
and so the outside jacket you'll have water and two heating elements, and then a coil in the outside jacket to recirc your wort through to control the temperatures. So the theory is that the heating elements never touch the wort, so you don't get
But
burnt wort or caramelization, that sort of stuff.
unless you
Um, so and it's all like it's got valves all over it and stuff. It would take me a bit to get my head around how all the valves work and everything.
yep. And what are you fermenting in?
Um, you can ferment in the single vessel, which they don't have much. They've got a fair bit of information on fermenting washes, so doing distilling and then fermenting in that, but not much on beer. But I imagine it's the same thing. Again, you can control the temperature with recirc, so
Yeah, you'd want to yeah somehow transferring the heat, like maybe even out to a heat exchanger and back in or something, and then
yeah.
and being able to ferment in that. That'll be interesting. It'd be cool to see when you get it up and running, and we'll have to have a brew day or something like that.
Yeah, well, apparently they're due the end of July, so I want to see how efficient the boiling is because the elements don't touch the wort, so you got water in the outside jacket, and I guess you boil that,
Mm.
and I'm just interested to see how efficient it is in transferring the boil into the inner pot and getting your wort boiling when you're adding hops and all that sort of stuff. I'm interested.
Yeah, and if you can make a whirlpool for the yeah for the set, yeah, it'll be interesting.
Yeah, they've got ports on it to do your well pooling, and it says a pump, dedicated pump, and so you use the pump to do the resoak for the mashing, and then you can use that same pump and switch the valves to run it through the whirlpool.
Has it got like a
So
false bottom for laundering or?
it's got a malt pipe, so you pull the malt pipe out.
Okay, no, that sounds really cool. Uh,
Yeah, so
yeah, no, yeah, no, we'll have to have a brew day for sure. I yeah, while I was in Melbourne, I went to um the Carwyn Cellars launch night of their Pint of Origin with they've got USA. Had a couple of parish beers. Um, I thought it was important to go to Carwyn Cellars because they're part of the Fox Friday fallout. Um, they were purchased by Fox Friday 18 months ago or so, and they look like they're in a lot of trouble. So I thought it was good to go and support Carwyn while I could, and I've always wanted to check it. Really cool, you know, timber bottle shop at the front, nice little bar down the back. But yeah, they had the Anchorage and Parish beers on, and um, American food and stuff. So, but it was really good. But there's 23 venues doing Pint of Origin events in Melbourne. I nearly made it to the Molly Rose one, but I didn't go to the next one. So I think if you're in Melbourne and you want to go to some of these events, there's like nearly a different event at each of these venues every week over the next few weeks. Just jump on the Crafty Pint web page and have a look and try and make it to a few of them.
yeah, I don't know if you can make all of them. 23 venues is pretty massive.
There is a passport, and people have been trying to get them stamped, and, but it's like Carwyn's got. They had a different one today, and like each venue's got three or four events. It's not just the one event. So yeah, look, I think it's the more luck to them getting people into the the Pint of Origins. I think it's a great idea. I missed out
Mm.
on the Currumbin Valley takeover today at Saccharomyces. It was like a farewell to Smoky and the Currumbin Valley beers. I hope that really went well. Haven't seen too much on the socials, so I hope it was really good. I was at the Queen Victoria markets in the morning, and then I flew home in the afternoon. Um, I don't know if you've been to Queen Victoria markets, but it's sort of a mixture of it's all retail, but like fresh food markets, and there's fresh seafood markets, and
Is
um,
there a big is there a big seafood section?
inside there is, yeah,
Yeah, I've been to it then. Yeah.
yeah. Pretty cool location, a lot of artisan stuff. There's some homemade crafts. There's like cheap knockoff clothes and belts and stuff as well, and go and get some fake Ugg boots and Akuras and souvenir stuff. But there's also like lots of food trucks, and it's a really cool place to have a look around if you've got some time in Melbourne on a Saturday morning. But they're open all the time, and I got a bratwurst from a like a currywurst van and things like that. So yeah, but that
Nice.
also meant I didn't make it back. What I was going to say though is at the airport, I think I saw about six or seven different sporting teams, either on or off flight,
Yeah.
and I couldn't believe it because there's like an entourage of like 40 people per team, and I saw my Tigers. I didn't bother them. Maybe I should have because they would have done better than they did today. They got absolutely smashed today, so I'm just not going to mention them again. But there was, netball, AFL, all different codes, all different, all in their sponsor gears. the airports must absolutely love these teams because all the national teams they fly home and away every week, and there's New Zealand going to be PNG and Perth, and yeah, it's really amazing to see.
Yeah, I've never actually managed to come across any sporting teams in the airports. So
Yeah,
missed
there
out
were
on that.
people running around getting cards signed by people as well, and
Yeah.
um, yeah, obviously it's a thing. I must have just been at the airport at the right time because yeah, there was absolute heap of them in Melbourne Airport. So yeah. Um, the week before last, they had the IBA mashup at Future Magic. Um, it was a huge response regarding the COEX presentation, the container deposit scheme. Since then, there's been heaps of discussion online about it. The biggest issue is that they've got, $160 million in their pocket that's supposed to go back to the consumers, which hasn't been. They were thinking of raising it or mentioned raising it to 20 cents refund. And it's all the small producers who are, and the manufacturers who are actually copying this. Tasmania's plans just come out at 22 cents, um,
Wish.
which is crazy. Um, Gavin Croft put a really good detailed message regarding the system on socials, and you know, for example, it cost the brewery, if you got a small brewery, about 13 cents to pay for the system. Then you've got to log with each state that you sell that beer in the barcode to lodge it with each of the collection systems because we haven't got a national system. Then if you make, a couple of beers a week, you got to lodge that each and single time. You also have to do a stat deck on how many cans that you've produced and actually sent out with products in them. And it's just the amount of time and effort that it takes for a system that was started as an anti-litter program and not a recycling program. It really is dumbfounding that we didn't go with a national program. We should have followed perhaps South Australia, who had it for years with the 5 cent. I don't see how they can fix it because every state has such a different system, and we've all
Yeah.
mentioned how good Germany's system is. I've mentioned a few times that you can tell that the UK doesn't have one because London is just scattered with rubbish, and it's a source of income for homeless or hard living people here to go and pick up all those 10 cent containers. I don't know what the answer is. They also mentioned apparently at the mashup that if you put your 10 cent containers in the yellow bins and they go to the recycling and they're separated, the council gets that money back too. So um, look, I think we need a national system. They think it's a bit of there's a bit of an issue with Coke and Visi owning a lot of the collection points. So yeah, where currently there's a investigation into it in Queensland. So hopefully maybe some findings there can be rolled out across the country.
Yeah, it's one of those things where you just assume that it's organized nationally because that just makes sense, right? But like I heard that it was each state organized their own thing. I just the duplication of effort and expenses and kind of no consensus on what the rules are or the prices, the regulations, who does it, who doesn't do it. It's just crazy.
Well, in
What like whatever funds are collected are burnt up in um the regulation in each state. It's
it's crazy.
crazy stuff.
Yeah, in New South
Yeah.
Wales, I know I've been to some of those reverse vending machines, and there's just piles of stuff outside that wasn't accepted because maybe that barcode was a craft beer that wasn't registered or it couldn't read it because the can was crushed, and it sort of
Yeah.
defeats the purpose. I go to a collection point that just counts the units. They don't worry about the barcodes, and there still are some of those. So if you get a crushed can or a crushed popper, uh, juice box, whatever you call them. They just count the units, not the actual barcodes. And they've got the contract for Suncorp Stadium, so they go up, pick up all
Yeah.
of the stuff from there. But it's just that's a little local one, and they've got
Send some trucks up.
stadium. Yeah, yeah. So our plan, Coex, I think, is Perth has got that as well. I remember in the retail point, you know, Victoria was one of the last major states to have one introduced. And when people were doing price matching in stores, they would set it for Victoria to oh look, that's $2.40 cheaper down there. But that was I don't know. Is it a point of sale where it should be applied rather than the manufacturer? Should the people making the cans, they're the ones that should be getting charged for the system? I don't know, but it sounds like something passionately has to happen in that space.
Yeah, and kind of touching on passion, I think the German system works so well because they care about it. Like they're not doing it for the 10 cents or whatever their amounts are, but it's
Good.
because they
Good.
care
It's like
about
35, 45 euros, some of them, yeah.
yeah,
Point.
so it's because they care about recycling and reducing waste and um I'm not sure Australia has that level of passion and commitment
Responsibility.
for responsibility. Yeah, that's another good word.
Unless
Yeah.
they're forced to, then yeah, yeah. F1, did you get to see any updates from Miami?
Yeah, I watched the 30-minute review on F1 TV.
Yeah,
Yeah, Oscar pantsed him.
he sure did. He's doing
Yeah.
really well. I'm happy in that court. So one of my orange teams is going okay, even if it's not the Tigers. Um, it's yeah, really happy for McLaren. I think it's this year or else for Oscar. Um, it was funny to see Max incognito at Nürburgring in a GT3 Ferrari. Said
Yeah, I read about that. What's his name? It's pretty funny. Because
Franz Herman or something.
Franz Herman, yeah. I mean, it's weird because he apparently runs a GT racing team in the GT Cup in Europe.
Yeah,
And so he raced this GT3 at Nürburgring under this pseudonym, Franz Herman or whatever it was.
yeah. Still
But
wearing
then got on the
his Verstappen
socials.
race suit though.
Yeah. And then he got on the socials and put his name out. So I just did this. And so what was the point of going under the pseudonym? You're just going to jump on your socials and say, hey, I just did this.
Maybe it was just so the cameras were off him before the trial or something. I don't know. But he's a born,
Maybe in case he binned it.
yeah, maybe he's a born racer though. So obviously he's setting himself up for when he leaves F1 to or maybe substitute, get some GT3.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I was reading an article on it and
the lap record, didn't he?
yeah, got the lap record on it. Yep. Yep. So he can drive. I think it was the Red Bull team director was saying that like Max is just a born racer and he doesn't like he's not in the F1 because it's the F1.
No,
He's in the F1 because it's a challenge and he loves it and he's enjoying it. But as soon as that day comes where he's not loving it, not enjoying it, he'll
he's on
he'll
the
be going and be doing something else. Probably GT racing. He's already got the team, so
yeah. Well, I
makes
thought the
sense.
same. I thought the same with Shane Van Gisbergen. Just give him a steering wheel and he'll race whatever he can. And like I said, we saw him here once, and he had remote controlled dirt buggies that he was racing on a weekend off or something. So he just races all the time. So yeah,
He's been tearing it up in the US, hasn't he?
he's been doing really well. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And bad news for Jack Doohan, replaced with Colapinto, and
Yeah.
and then the team principal quit as well. So I don't think Jack ever had a chance by the sound of it.
Yeah, I remember when Casey Stoner stopped racing in MotoGP, and he was pretty quiet for a good 6 or 7 months about why he quit.
Yeah,
And then he wasn't quiet. And one of the interviews I saw was that it's just so hard for an Australian to make it over there because all these Italian guys and Spanish guys are bringing like millions of dollars of sponsorship, and you got this Australian guy who's not bringing millions of dollars of sponsorship and yeah, millions of fans and bring all that kind of value with them. So you're there purely on your racing skills, and they're all pretty much the same. Yeah, they're all pretty much the same level of racing, give or take. So that's I know that's not seen as a real value.
Yeah,
So maybe I don't know whether Jack Dillon had the same thing where he wasn't bringing all the sponsors and the fans and the interest with him, and he's just there purely on his racing skill. But yeah, I think F1 is ruthless, and I think the soccer in Europe is ruthless as well. Like, yeah, you see managers getting chopped after 5 games, haven't got results. Psst, you're out.
yeah.
Just absolutely ruthless.
Even worse because there's no salary cap in the Premier League, and
Yeah.
some of the money that these people, well, not just Premier League, but just Saudi Arabia throwing $300 million a year to have Ronaldo there, and just crazy amounts of money. So yeah, no, I feel sorry for Jack. I hope he finds something. Um, yeah, obviously, I don't think Alpine will. Like Colapinto will do okay, but like I think he's a good racer. But I don't. I think Flavio is the issue, not the driver. So um, yeah, yeah, very good.
Another thing I noticed with the Miami race,
Yeah,
um, as that stage kind of probably like 2/3 away through the race, where they all started pitting, and just the pit crews, like just the accuracy and the speed they've got on those changes. I was watching, I'm like, this is pretty amazing.
I do miss the refueling. I get why they went away from it and went with the hybrids and the danger of the refueling and everything like that. And but yeah, you know, under 3 second stops is just it's ridiculous.
Yeah. And there's a point where Oscar and Lando came in one after each other.
Yeah.
3 seconds gone, like I got a 6 second break between the next guy coming in.
Yeah.
Done,
And how much
both
time,
out.
effort, training just go into that. So yeah. Oh well, anyway, really good chat. Thank you to everyone for adding BQB memes on the group. Some of the religious and political stuff's been great. Ask us anything on the group, and we will try to be better with our timing.
No more beer awards, eh?
Oh well, not for a couple of months.
Well,
Yeah. Alrighty, mate. Have a good one. Catch you later.
all right. Cheers, everyone.
Cheers.